Okay, we're on to lesson 7 today. So you should have tried this problem before you're watching the video. It says Katie and Scott are both finding 6 times 7. They break apart the problem in a different way. Show 2 different ways 6 times 7 could be broke apart. So one way 6 is really easy to break apart is a 5 and a 1. So I would leave my 7 alone and I'd break apart the 6. So I would break apart the first one to 1 times 7 and I would add that to 5 times 7. The reason that that's so easy to break apart is because, or that's such a good way to break it apart is because it's easy to count by 5s and we know when we multiply by 1 it's just the other number. So 7 times 1 is 7. 5 times 7, let's count to count 7 times 5, or count by 5 7 times. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. So if we add those together and then we put 35 in our head and add 7, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42. That's one way to do it. But it says to do it 2 ways. So I would also break apart the 7 into 5 and 2. Because 5 and 2 is a really good way to break apart a 7. So we'd leave the 6 alone and we'd break the 7 into 5 and 2. If we did it that way, we'd have 6 times 2 and we would add that to 6 times 5. So 6 times 2, we know we can just double the 6. So 2 6s is 12. 6 times 5, we count by 5 6 times. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Then we can add the 1s and we can add the 10s and we get 42. So either way, we got the same answer. Okay, so, and if you didn't do it this way, that's totally fine. That was just a couple ways I wanted to show you to do it. Okay, so let's go on. So it says, why can you break apart 6 times 7 in more than one way to find the product? Well, we can break apart 6 times 7 in more than one way because we're not changing the total amount. We're just changing how we count them. So for number 1, you would write, we're not changing the total. So we're just changing how we count them. We're not changing the total. So go ahead and hit pause while you write that. Okay. So now if we go to number 2, number 2 says, just with the factors you've worked with, you can break apart the factors 7, 8, and 9 in more ways than one. Use 2 different ways to break apart 7 times 7 to find its product. You can use the problem you just solved. Show how you can use 6 times 7 to find 7 times 7. Well, if we have 6 times 7, if we counted all these dots, that would equal 42. Then, if you want one more, you're really just adding one more row of 7, so you just add 7 to that. So that's 49. So then you can use the problem to do another one. So in this case, they broke it up into 5 and 2. So they are doing 7 times 7. So they're saying this is still 7, but the 7 breaks up into 5 and 2. So if we count by 5s 7 times, that would be 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. And then if we added 7 2 times, 7 plus 7 is 14. So all together, that would be 49. So whether you do 6 times 7 and then you add 7 more, or whether you do multiply each of them and then add them together, they're both 49. Okay? Okay, hit pause while you write that. Okay, so which of the two models above do you think's easier? And would you choose another way? So just answer that for me. Which one do you think is easier? And would you choose a different way to do it? Okay, that's all you need to do for, oh, actually, let's skip down to the very last slide because you have this sheet to do. So I want to show you how to do this sheet. So in the middle of the sheet, it has a product. And you need to write some examples of products. So you could just do 5 times 3, count by 5s 3 times, 5, 10, 15. You could do 1 times 6, which is the other number. Every multiplication sentence you write, point an arrow down to the product. The product is the answer to a multiplication sentence. So just write 6 multiplication sentences, figure them out, and then point an arrow to the product. Then you will go ahead and do page 157 and page 158. Good luck with Lesson 7, Session 1.